Do you think politicians or peers should be allowed to make decisions which they may financially benefit from?
Sometimes it's unavoidable. Sometimes it's impossible. For example, I mean, there are quite a few farmers in the House of Commons. It'd be a bit silly if farmers weren't allowed to take part in debates about farming, because they actually know about farming. For example, when we vote on taxes, we're changing our own taxes. So that's impossible, we can't separate that. But if you're saying, you know, suppose I'm on the side, I'm working for a company, I shouldn't be involved in a government contract that has anything to do with that company. Absolutely not.
So that's more what I was talking about.
And we have very, very strict rules about declarations of interest. So any outside earnings I have, you can go and look at the website in the House of Commons, it's all there. I mean, I earn a bit of outside earnings from journalism, that's just about it. And you'll also see that the people who make donations to the Conservative Party through me, they're on there as well, so you can see what they do. And if I speak in the House of Commons on anything relating to those interests, I have to declare that interest, and I might have to vote because my party tells me that we need you to vote on this to have a majority, but it's transparent. And if I was a minister and I left the job as a minister, and the same applies to civil servants, I would have to take another job. So I left the job as a minister to take a job in the outside world. I would have to ask permission of a committee before I could take that job to make sure that there's no conflict. So we have a pretty good system. I think it could be improved, and my committee went to Canada and produced a report about how this whole conflicts of interest thing could be improved. We think we should have a statutory conflicts of interest commissioner, like the Canadians. It shouldn't just be voluntary and informal. But in the end, we have a pretty squeaky clean system. If you look at the global index of corrupt countries, okay, in terms of cleanliness, we're about 8th from the top.
What about Tony Blair making a stonking load of money after he left?
That's a very good question. But if somebody's left public life, after a period, first of all, they're entitled to make a living. And secondly, if he rakes it in by exploiting all his contacts, I mean, I think that's more of a problem for him than for us, because it doesn't do his reputation any good. I mean, John Major does remarkably little of that sort of thing, and he could do much more, and I think I rather admire him for that. But in the end, you can't, I mean, if you're a doctor in the health service and you retire and want to do something else, does that mean you can't use your skills that you've got in the health service and the training you've got as a doctor to earn a living doing something else? I don't think anyone would say that. So people have got to be able to earn a living.